Hello, I'm Lance Robertson and welcome to the third round of the Hi-Tec Oils Australian FX-Superbike Championship, coming to you from Lakeside Park in Queensland. It's a momentous occasion for the circuit, as this round marks the first national level motorbike race meeting in almost 2 decades. We kick off our coverage with all the action from the Bikehaggle.com.au Superbikes and the Matris Dampers Supersports and Amsport 600s. First up are the Superbikes, and as we take a look at the points, Suzuki's Brendan McIntyre continues to lead by a slender 3 points ahead of Andrew Thompson. Chris Quinn is not too far behind in third place, with Simon Galloway and Brett Kitchen completing the top 5. For many riders this weekend, the opportunity to race at Lakeside Park on a national level is one filled with excitement, and Becky Lamb caught up with some of the riders seeking their initial impressions.
Lakeside Circuit's got a lot of undulations in it, so there's a lot of ups and downs, and there's a lot of really tight, twisty parts to the circuit.
It's a really fun little track, actually. The walls are pretty close, so therefore you've got to keep yourself in check a bit.
Really, I think it's all one from the start line here. You need to get off the start. If you don't do that well, then to a point you're locked into where you are.
It's a really technical track. There's not a lot of room for error here either, but it is a really fun little track to ride around.
It's probably the most action-packed to watch and to ride on. Just being so close to the walls, so close to the crowd, as well as the wheel stands over the bumps.
Conditions here at Lakeside Park have been warm but ideal so far this weekend, and it's set to continue in the first of our 3 races for the Bikehaggle.com.au Superbikes over 9 laps. As we look at our grid now, it is Ryan Yanko, Simon Galloway and Brendan McIntyre on the front row of the grid, whilst row 2 is Dean Hasler, Murray Clark and Michael Edwards. Row 3 sees Ben Lowe, Wayne Williams and Brendan Watson sharing the duties, with Hamish McMurray on the back of the grid. In the starters' hands now, 9 laps away from finding out our race 1 winner of the Bikehaggle.com.au FX-Superbikes here at Lakeside Park as part and parcel of round 3 of the Hi-Tec Oils Australian Superbike Championship. And it looks like it was Ryan Yanko that got the whole shot at the end of Hi-Tec Oil's main straight, leading into Matris Dampers.
Brilliant start from Yanko, but he was all over them yesterday, wasn't he? He dominated here in proceedings on Saturday. Hasler getting up into second spot. Galloway's done well. McIntyre third and fourth as they make their way through the AGV bus stop on the rundown Bikehaggle towards Racetech Hungary for the first time of 9 laps here. Of course, all Superbike races, 9 laps this weekend, so 54 laps, no shortage of track time around this great place.
Ryan Yanko being fairly dominant in the early stages. Will he be able to kick away? You heard from some of the podium finishers already in the interviews with Becky Lamb about how important it is to try and get that whole shot and get the early break, because passing can be very difficult if you don't get the race rhythm and the lines that you need. In second place it is Hasler, who's doing a great job. Third place is still the 46 of Simon Galloway, followed through then by I think you'll find it was Brendan McIntyre on board the 7 Friday Pop Joy Racing Western Motorcycles in Sydney Suzuki GSXR, and of course that is a brand new 2018 model Suzuki that he's running there. You can see him on board bike number 2, and they're both under a little bit of a threat now from Michael Edwards, who's done a great job to be able to get up there in the top 5 early on.
Indeed he has. Into races, world, out of Racetech they go. Yanko the leader, second spot belongs to Hasler, third of course Simon Galloway, then we go back to Brendan McIntyre there in fourth spot. A really good start as they make their way back onto the main straight once more. 2 down, 7 to go here at Lakeside. Weather picture perfect. Superbike racing back at this magnificent venue, and everybody absolutely enjoying themselves. Standing lap times there. Well, actually, we can't tell you at the moment because it's reading as though we've recorded 2 laps, which we actually have. So Yanko, Hasler, Galloway, McIntyre and Edwards the top 5. Murray Clark just outside there in 6th spot.
Looking at this battle for 4th, 5th and 6th placing at the moment. Galloway, it is 3rd, 4th and 5th, I beg your pardon. Galloway just ahead of McIntyre, followed by Edwards. They're the 3 runners there. Also see in the foreground, they're on the run down through Bikehaggle.com.au, entering into Racetech, the old Hungry corner, that Hasler is dropping off the pace a little bit, and Yanko is stretching that lead that he had over the last couple of laps.
Indeed he is, and he's just ever so slightly gradually improving on it, and he did that yesterday as well. Got a little bit of a buffer, built on it, and that's all you need around here, that little bit of a gap, and it's amazing what you can do with it. You mentioned limited overtaking opportunities earlier. They're coming up into one now at Matris Dampers Carousel. That's one of the key opportunities here, of course. The other one being Hungry Corner. If you're really brave, you might get a move done into the Eastern Loop or even down Dunlop. But the fact of the matter is that, yes, it's a narrow concrete canyon, Lakeside Park. So you've got to be brave, you've got to be bold. But when you do go and make a manoeuvre, you've got to make it stick.
Ryan Yanko on board the Better Port Kubota 5 Gloves Ducati $12.99, as opposed to Dean Hasler on the Wild Brumby Distillery Pinot Noir BMW S1000RR. Third placing is Simon Galloway on his Yamaha R1, and he has great support from Chris Watson Motorcycles and YRD, the Yamaha Racing Development Program. Brendan McIntyre a little bit further back on board the Western Motorcycles 7 Friday. Rick Pobjoy Suzuki GSX-R 1000, and then Michael Edwards on another of the Yamaha R1s from North Star Yamaha. So there's a good mix of manufacturers, makes and engine capacities, as well as rider ability. Some of the battles later on through the field, we can see a few of those for the minor placings at the moment as they enter the Matris Dampers Carousel. Our race leader, in the meantime, is exiting the AGV bus stop for the rundown bikehaggle.com.au. And that swooping left-hander that used to be known as Hungry Corner. Why? Because it used to eat you up in no uncertain terms if you got it wrong.
Don't worry, it still does. If you get it wrong, it still does. Oh, Hasler wide, speaking of which, on the run into races.world, the commentator's curse almost striking early on a Sunday morning. Up over the Eastern Loop for races.world, down Dunlop, and it's still Hasler holding off Galloway and McIntyre here, who put on an epic duel for third place all day yesterday, and they've resumed duel again here. Hasler coming under pressure from Galloway. Galloway up on the inside. The boy, sponsored by Chris Watson Motorcycles, goes to second.
Yeah, the Yamaha just getting the better drive there over Hasler, of course, who is on board the BMW.
Indeed he is, and can I just point out, that move for Galloway was all set up at that point there, races.world on the previous lap, when Hasler got it wide. He lost the momentum that we so very regularly talk about today, and Galloway was able to make the most of that and take advantage and make the move and go up into second spot.
Let's see if the Western Motorcycles Rick Popjoy Racing 7 Friday entry of Brendan McIntyre was able to do the same thing. Unfortunately, he was not. He didn't get the draft that he needed on the run down Dunlop and of course the run down the Hi-Tec Oils main straight. I tell you what, just looking at that, Ryan Yanko may have made a little bit of a mistake. The gap has been bridged by Simon Galloway, who's coming on like the proverbial gangbusters at the three-quarter race length here as he runs down into Race Tech. If he can get that Yamaha percolating through this section of the circuit like he did a couple of laps ago, then he may well be a threat to the race lead. So Galloway continues his charge towards the front of the pack as they head down the hill and through the final turn. Negotiating that is very important, getting the power down to the ground so that they can get a good run down the Hi-Tec Oils main straight. As you can see though, Ryan Yanko still leads, Galloway trying very hard, and Brendan McIntyre still struggling a little bit back in third place at the moment. So through the carousel, Yanko looks fairly comfortable leading the race. Some people like to lead the race and others don't. Look at this up the inside, trying McIntyre. He couldn't quite do it on Dean Hasler. Hasler and that BMW, he certainly got percolating at the top of the rev limiter as they head out of there down into the old Hungry Corner. Looking back from Dean Hasler, you can see the GSX-R 1000, the Western Motorcycles, Rick Pobjoy Racing, 7 Friday Suzuki of Brendan McIntyre, heading through the loop and the run down Dunlop onto the main straight to commence the last lap of the race. But whilst it might be Ryan Yanko comfortably leading Galloway, the real battle is between Hasler and McIntyre. McIntyre right over onto the white line on the outside of the circuit. He's got the run through the kink and down into the carousel. That may well be the podium finish that he requires. Third place is begging for McIntyre. A great move as they now head through the bus stop for the final time. It's Yanko, Galloway, now McIntyre and Hasler. These four have been the dominant force in the Bikehaggle.com.au Superbikes throughout the weekend, and it's not changing at the moment. On board with Ryan Yanko, set for another victory here at Lakeside Park, heading out of Hungary for the run around the top loop area and the run down Dunlop. All four of these can stand with their heads held high at the end of this one.
Round onto the main straight, the checkered flag now out for Ryan Yanko, and he continues his clean run this weekend. What about the performance from Simon Galloway in second spot? Third to McIntyre, who as I said, got by Hasler there on the last lap. And the interesting thing there, Lance, Ducati, Yamaha, Suzuki, BMW, four makes in the top four.
Michael Edwards finishes in fifth, followed by Murray Clark, Ben Lowe, Wayne Williams, Hamish McMurray and Brendan Watson on board his Yamaha FZ1.
I was just trying to block out the noise from his bike. I could hear him here most of the time, and just thought if I hold my line and try and not give him too much room, then yeah, should be all right.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Ryan got a good start, got away from me, and I had a bit of a battle with Hasler. Yeah, so he started making a few mistakes so I could get past, and I tried to hunt Ryan down, but he's too good, so yeah, that was good fun.
Yeah, the pace isn't a problem. It's a single line, and I can't blame anyone else but myself. I'm not getting the bike off the line as I need to, and anything less than the perfect shift you're doing is enough to give the other guys a run into the first turn, and it seems to be whoever leads into the first turn can control the pace and really run off with it.
Well, we have more action from the Superbikes later in the show, but after the break we go racing with the Matris Dampers Supersports and Amsport 600s. Thanks for joining us here at Lakeside Park as we welcome you back to our Round 3 coverage of the Hi-Tec Oils Australian FX-Superbike Championship. We now move on to the Matris Dampers Supersports and Amsport 600s, and the field is bolstered by the welcome return of defending champion Sam Lambert, who jumps aboard an MV Agusta F3 675. We're now going to take a look back at the opening two races of the weekend. In race one, it was current series leader Callum Barker who used his local advantage to jump into the lead ahead of Ryan Sellen and Stephanie Redmond. But making an even better start was Amsport 600 rider Andrew Edzer, who jumped up to fifth place aboard his Kawasaki by the time they approached the Matris Dampers carousel. As Barker cleared away to a commanding lead, the focus quickly turned to the fight for second between Sellen, Redmond and Lambert. The MV Agusta had only arrived into the country just prior to this event and was still relatively stocked compared to Lambert's rivals. That being said, his raw speed enabled the defending champion to dive past Redmond for third on lap 2, before he lost that spot at the AGV bus stop a few corners later. Redmond managed to slip past Sellen for second one lap later, and it wasn't long before Lambert knocked the Kawasaki rider back one more spot at the carousel. Further down the field, Matthew Cartellone was a mid-race retirement with weekend-ending mechanical failure for his Yamaha. Whilst back at the front, Redmond and Lambert broke away from Sellen and continued their tussle right to the checkered flag. Their fight for second allowed Barker and his Suzuki to clear away to a 6-second margin as he took out the race win. Lambert pipped Redmond on the final lap to take out second place, followed by Redmond's Yamaha in third. The Supersport field reconvened just after lunch for race 2, and once again it was Callum Barker who jumped away into the lead ahead of Ryan Sellen and Stephanie Redmond, who would knock Sellen back to third by the time they got to the carousel. Lambert got away to another sluggish start but quickly gained momentum and reeled in Sellen and roared around the outside, negotiating the Hi-Tec Oils kink on the commencement of lap 2. Lambert's next target would be Redmond's Yamaha, while Sellen would fall back further down the pecking order as Andrew Edzer dive-bombed past him at Races World Hungary Corner. With Barker already clearing away from his opposition, the fight for second between Lambert and Redman was already becoming the must-watch on the track battle for the weekend. The pair were trading blows lap after lap, whilst giving each other plenty of respect. Meanwhile, at the front, Barker roared on to another 6-second win aboard his Suzuki, whilst Redman managed to gain a toe on Lambert and pipped him for second place right on the line. And so we now focus on the third and final race of the weekend, where Callum Barker is in the prime position to take out a clean sweep of wins. Coming into this weekend's racing, Barker had a comfortable points gap over Hayden Spinks, who is not here this weekend. Stephanie Redman currently sits in fifth and will also benefit with her consistency over this weekend. So here is the grid for the final race of the weekend. Callum Barker will start from pole ahead of Sam Lambert and Stephanie Redman. Ryan Sellen and Andrew Edser complete the second row, with Matthew Cartellone a non-starter. On the third row we have John Williams, Dave Wilson and Matthew Franco, with the fourth row filled out by Brian Bolster, Lee Duffy and Grant Stokes.
And away they go. The Australian flag has been raised. Again, Stephanie Redman gets up the inside of Sam Lambert, was it? No, I think you'll find it was Ryan Sellen. Sam Lambert back there in fourth place. Very much, Zach Kamen, a case of deja vu.
Very much so, yeah. You took the words right out of my mouth. It's been that way.
That's a song.
Yeah, for Sam Lambert all weekend. He just has not been able to get the bike off the line. But at the moment, it's Callum Barker, and that is also a sense of deja vu, leading the way out of the AGV bus stop on the way down to Hungry Corner for Hi-Tec once more. There he goes, already 5-6 bike lengths up his sleeve.
Well, it is very much a case of deja vu for the entire field, really, at this point of lap number one. It's Callum Barker, Stephanie Redman, Ryan Sellen, Lambert and Andrew Edser. They're the top runners, the top five. That's the way they're in the order at the moment. That's the way they've been almost every race in this category.
Yeah, exactly right. As they come across the line, have a look at them. Line astern, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Across the line, it's Barker, Redman. Have a look up on the inside. Lambert on Redman. Sorry, Sellen, I should say. Yep. Not to be. So Sellen holds third for the moment. Williams there, fifth, and Franco sixth.
The only real difference that I can note in this one compared to the previous two encounters, because of tyre management perhaps, you'll find that Callum Barker is not quite in front as far as what he would normally be. Stephanie Redman has managed to consolidate a very consistent second placing, leaving this battle for third place with three of her key rivals throughout the entire weekend so far. So maybe she can mount a challenge on Callum Barker.
Quite possibly. Wouldn't that be something?
Yes.
The girl power winning at Lakeside Park, that would be a great story. She's already broken clear of Sellen, Lambert. Back there in fifth spot is Williams. The guy who has dropped off the ball is our M Sport 600 leader this weekend, Andrew Edser. He's all the way down in 14th place at the moment. So he's normally been up here fighting with the last of the Supersports as Lambert goes up on the inside of Sellen to third.
Job done, well done. Oh, he's gone a little bit wide.
He'll hold it.
He does indeed, gets a drive through that. If you can get over that little bit of an adverse camber on the entrance, you then get the advantage of the on camber and the drive up the hill, the bikebiz.com.au hill leading into the AGV bus stop. But if you can get over that and drive in the mid track, I guess you could say, you then get the momentum through there. It almost forces you to go on the right line.
Exactly. There's Redman in close pursuit of Barker. Fastest lap of the race for Redman, 101.02, and really close now, 0.8 of a second. Is this the moment for Stephanie Redman here this afternoon? I mean, Callum Barker said to me this morning, geez, I'd love to get a clean sweep.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, Stephanie Redman is going to try and challenge that request, if you like. At the end of this one, it'll be half race distance, 4 completed out of lap, and Redman is as close as anybody's been to Barker throughout the entire weekend.
Exactly, and that says something about how well she's preserved and looked after her tyres throughout the course of the weekend. You know, ladylike behaviour, I guess. The other guys are wrecking theirs, and Redman's just found that niche, that way to look after them, to nurture them through, to have a real good crack at Callum Barker in this last race. Third spot belongs to Lambert, fourth is Sellen, fifth is Williams. You saw them pop through your view there. Franco Wilson bolstered just coming into view there with Franco leading the pack across the line. So the gap now still 0.8 of a second. Barker has maintained his advantage over Redmond, if you like.
The 55 of Franco just going through there ahead of Wilson as they're battling it out for 6th and 7th placing. Heading out of Matris Dampers Carousel, running up over the top of the bikebiz.com.au rise into the AGV bus stop. Nice clean lines for both of them. Looking like Wilson getting a better drive out of the bus stop and down bikehaggle.com.au towards Racetech. Getting the drive down the hill. Oh, he's off into the gravel. He just lost that front end. Overcooked it a little bit. I think you'll find that was Franco Wilson putting the pressure on him. Looking for a replay of this. Here he comes down under brakes, just gets a little bit too wide, decides to run off the track. Yeah, decides that he can't turn the bike in, goes off onto the track, just loses the balance. Maybe a little bit too much front brake trail there as he went in. Keep your eyes on Barker on the left-hand side. Sellen behind him on the number 23. Redmond gets a good start as well again, but Barker and that Suzuki. Here comes the Sellen effort. He'll try and get up around the outside of Redmond. Redmond, though, much closer this time early on. We can see Sam Lambert a little bit further back, and who would that be? Is that Edzer that's back there a little bit, or is it Williams? Looking for them coming through turn 3, the lead up into the AGV bus stop. It is Callum Barker. Then we've got Stephanie Redmond, Ryan Sellen, Sam Lambert. Everybody streaming through there, A-OK. This is lap 1 of 4, the second half of this third encounter for the Matris Dampers Supersport Amsport 600.
Short, sharp and sweet. Obviously, half the job done, half the job still to go, but it's a reset, isn't it? So you've got less time to do what you were trying to set out to do originally. But so far, so good for Callum Barker. Converted the start again, 7 from 7 this weekend, and leads Redmond across the line with 3 to go.
Yeah, look, the disadvantage for Stephanie Redmond is the fact that halfway through the race, the tyres would have been at optimal temperature, or optimal performance, those sorts of things. If she had slightly better rubber on her bike than Callum Barker's, then that would have been her advantage. Now she's got to build up that momentum, build up that tyre pressure, build up that temperature, and she doesn't have as long to do that, and that's evident of the fact that Barker has been able to bolt away with a reasonably good lead at this early stage of this 4-lap second half of the race.
Certainly has, already at the 0.7 after lap 1. Let's see what it is after lap 2 and if there's any improvement on the lap times as well. Lambert and Sellen. It's Lambert that's got his nose in front of Sellen now, 3rd and 4th. Sellen was leading that out the strike. Back to the line, 2 to go. Have a look at this battle, 5th, 6th and 7th there. Wilson, Williams and Edzer has clawed his way back through. So if anything, the restart, because Ryan Sellen was down bottom of the order in the first start, the restart's actually helped him.
Well, I can see that the Yamaha setup seems to be more conducive early on than the Suzuki setup. It's now reduced to 0.3 of a second. The fastest lap time of 1:00:43.77, and that was set by Stephanie Redmond in second place.
And that was Edzer on your screen there, having a big look up on the inside, trying to find a way by Williams and Wilson, but unable to do it at this stage, I should say. So Edzer now trying to just redeem himself from that mistake from earlier, but also try and be the first M Sport 600 bike home in this 6th and final race of the weekend. So Redmond, the fastest lap of the race. Be interesting to see what she can do out of the Eastern Loop and when they come back onto the main straight.
On the combined race, this is lap 7 of 8, so they'll greet the last lap board this time around. It is 3 of 4. You can see Barker, he's worried about Redmond. Redmond coming on strong. Oh boy, I wish we hadn't had that stoppage earlier. I think Stephanie Redmond may well have been able to take it out. Look how close she is at the moment. Going through the Matris Dampers Carousel. She got her braking markers a little bit wrong there, went in a little bit too hot, and she's paying the price accordingly there. The runupbikebiz.com.au, not good for her.
Yeah, that's compromised her run, unfortunately, and maybe the crack that she was going to have on Barker at the end of this lap. Lambert's broken clear in third spot, Selin fourth, Williams fifth. But here we come into Hungary for Racetech. It's Barker, it's Redmond. What a performance from Redmond. She might not get that race win, but it's been a terrific weekend all the same. Take nothing away, though, from the man at the front of the field. Another clean sweep coming the way of Callum Barker.
6 from 6 plus a pole position for the Power Plus Racondi High-Side Suzuki mounted Callum Barker. Second place goes to the Addicted to Track YRD Yamaha of Stephanie Redmond. Third place will be taken out by Sam Lambert on his MV Augusta, the MV F3675.
Ryan Selwyn comes home in fourth place aboard his Kawasaki, followed by John Williams in fifth. Then it's Andrew Edzer, Dave Wilson, Grant Stokes, Owen Puccini, and the top 10 rounded out by Brian Bolster.
Callum Barker, an outstanding 6-second lead there, right at the end, crossing the finish line first. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I made the mistake of probably getting to the grid a little bit too early and sitting there for a bit too long. So I was just trying to do whatever I could, just to try and keep the tyres as warm as possible. They probably took half the race to get back up to proper temperature, and I just tried to do a good launch off the line and just tried to hold the pace and conserve the tyres as much as I could towards the end of the race.
I think you should be pretty happy with that lap record. Congratulations to you, Callum Barker. And in second place today, Sam Lambert. An excellent job out there, mate. He did get you, though. 6 seconds is a bit of a gap.
Yeah, no, it was he rode pretty well. It was a good race. I'm still struggling to get this thing off the start. So I reckon if we can get this bike developed a bit more before the end of the year, we should be able to get the pace down and hopefully do the same sort of times.
Looking forward to that next race. Congratulations, second place, Sam Lambert. And third place today, Stephanie Redmond. Fantastic effort for you to be on the podium today. Well done.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a good race for us. It's nice to be up there with those guys and kind of have a bit of a battle. I knew when Ryan got past me at the start it was going to be a little bit of work to get past him, but I can't fault the bike. The Addicted to Track Yamaha R6 is working perfectly and I can pretty much do what I want with it, so I'm pretty happy.
After the break, we resume horsepower hostilities in the bikehaggle.com.au Superbikes. Welcome back to Lakeside Park for round 3 of the Hi-Tec Oils Australian FX-Superbike Championship. We're getting ourselves ready for the second race in the bikehaggle.com.au Superbikes, where Ryan Yanko is looking to make it 2 from 2. But can Simon Galloway, Dean Hasler or even series leader Brendan McIntyre make a huge dent in his dominance? We're about to find out as we now take a look at the grid. Ryan Yanko sits on pole on board his Ducati ahead of Simon Galloway's Yamaha and the Suzuki of Brendan McIntyre. The second row consists of the BMWs of Dean Hasler and Murray Clark, then the Yamaha of Michael Edwards. On row 3 we have the Yamaha of Ben Lowe with the Suzuki of Wayne Williams and the Yamaha Pro Twin of Brendan Watson. Alongside of him and filling the 10th and final position is the Kawasaki of Hamish McMurray.
Underway now, Simon Galloway probably getting the best of the start there. I think we were actually missing one of the riders on the front row of the grid. Dean Hasler, is it, that's coming up there into third place. Fourth is McIntyre. Second is the 46 of Simon Galloway, but it's Ryan Yanko yet again that is streaking the field here at Lakeside Park.
As he has done all weekend. Ducati power. So we've seen BMW dominating earlier on in Formula Oz. We've seen Suzuki dominating in the Supersports. Now it's Ducati's turn as the Superbikes get underway on the run down to Racetech Hungary, and it's Yanko leading the way. Galloway, he's got breathing space now over McIntyre. He hasn't had much of that so far this weekend. He'll be under pressure soon from Dean Hasler, though.
Well, it's Hasler that's actually got up there, and I think it may well be Michael Edwards as well that's up past Brendan McIntyre. Now, of course, traditionally race number 2 throws a bit of a wild card into the fact of the controlled tyres that have to be used over the weekend. Sometimes riders elect to put fresh rubber on in race 2 and put up with whatever's left in race 3. Others will use their worst rubber in race 2, and Brendan McIntyre may well be a legacy of that. He normally does that sort of thing, leaves his best till last and tries to finish on a winning note.
and rightly so. That's the way you would want to win the weekend, I would imagine, as they make their way through the AGV bus stop once more. How good does the bus stop look since the resurfacing was completed earlier in the year? On the rundown, Bikehaggle towards Racetech, and that four-way battle for second continues. Galloway, Hasler, it was Edwards, you're right, Lance, that got up there in front of McIntyre, sitting fifth. Wide a little bit, Hasler, and just a little bit of a bobble on the bike as they head up over races.world, and that might give McIntyre, or Edwards in fact, an opportunity to get by.
Yeah, Edwards, his eyes were wider than saucers then inside that visor. You could see the gleam in his eye when Hasler made that mistake, but has he been able to capitalise on it? I don't think he's got enough horsepower, nor is he close enough to maximise the slipstreaming needed. Here comes McIntyre trying to get up the inside of Edwards. Glimpse of an opportunity, a breath of a chance, unable to take it, so he gulps himself some more air. He'll look at following him through and trying to line up in a better position to be able to overtake Edwards. McIntyre is the man I'm talking about, and McIntyre at the moment is back in fifth. So it's Yanko, Galloway, Hasler, Edwards, McIntyre. We have Clark, Williams, McMurray, Lowe, and Watson did not start. The fastest lap concluded on that second lap, a 1:00.0465. We're knocking on the door of a 59, and that's Ryan Yanko we're talking about.
I wouldn't be surprised if it goes this time. Yanko round onto the main straight. Let's have a look at this as he leads the way. Ducati on top here at Lakeside Park. Galloway second, Hasler, Edwards, McIntyre, Yanko. No, it's a little bit slower. It's a 1:07 that time around, as opposed to the 1:04. But that's very, very consistent to punch out, as McIntyre has a chance there to get by Edwards, but fails to convert the opportunity. I'll get back to that in a moment. To be that consistent, to knock out two 60.0s, that says a lot about Ryan Yanko. Not only his ability to win this weekend, but his consistency in his lap times as well, which helps that. And you mentioned McIntyre having an opportunity to get by at one there. It comes back to two things, doesn't it? This circuit's all about horsepower and brakes. If you've got both well in order, you're going to be well suited, aren't you?
Horsepower, brakes and bravado. That's what it all comes down to here at Lakeside Park. You can see there on screen at the moment that we've got Edwards and McIntyre battling it out for fourth and fifth place respectively. Second and third is between Hasler in third. Second is Simon Galloway, and your clear-cut race leader is Ryan Yanko, as mentioned, on that Ducati. A 1:00.03, so he was 0.01 faster than his fastest previous lap. It was a 1:00.04, and it's now a 1:00.03. So he's chipping away at that. We may be lucky enough, fortunate enough, to see a 59 come out of it yet.
We'd love to be here to witness that. Look at Hasler all over the back of Galloway, though, at the moment. The boy from the Hunter Valley really under pressure here. McIntyre's got by Edwards as well. Yeah, well spotted, Lance, on the back section of the circuit there, over around the Matris Devers carousel as they head down to Racetech now. This is a very, very important moment for Simon Galloway. Can he hold off Dean Hasler? What a confidence booster that would be to him at this point of the weekend. And of course, what a great round this has been for his championship as well, with the guys in second and third not here. Galloway's going to be sitting second going into Sydney Motorsport Park in November. Huge for the boy from the Hunter.
And also Hasler, he's been chipping away at the points as well. McIntyre
got a 59, Ryan Yanko. Go 59.80. Ryan Yanko has got into the 60s, even below the 60s. We've been talking about that all day. And he's now finally got that mark. 3.1 seconds now the margin. The only rider in the 59s all weekend. We've been talking about that magic mark. Speaking about magic mark, Hasler's trying to make his mark, trying to get by Galloway there.
Yeah, Simon Galloway still holding off the challenges of Dean Hasler and Brendan McIntyre as they come down through Racetech, leading up toward races.world. Hasler goes a little bit wide, trying to avoid the rear of Simon Galloway. Tucks his nose back a little bit tighter, gets a good run down Dunlop. This is going to come down to horsepower and slipstreaming. Down the Hi-Tec Oils main straight, completing lap 7 of 9. 2 to go. Galloway, Hasler, McIntyre through the kink at the end of the straight. Here comes McIntyre. He's left his braking very late, just can't do it. Has a different line to Hasler. That was almost a recipe for disaster. Hasler managing to maintain third place at the moment. Galloway in second. Hasler all over the back of Galloway. That's allowed the opportunity for Brendan McIntyre. They rubbed shoulders as they came through the bus stop there. McIntyre went around the outside through the right-hander there as Hasler slipped himself on the inside, lost momentum. Oh boy, that was very close.
We've been talking all weekend about the fact that you can't go through there 2x2. They set out to try and prove us wrong, but in the end, unfortunately for McIntyre, he came up a little bit worse for where they're still stuck behind Hasler, and that's been his problem. He's either been stuck behind Galloway or stuck behind Hasler. All weekend, he just hasn't been able to convert and find a way past. He hasn't had the legs down the main straight. He's now out to prove me wrong as he goes up on the outside of Hasler. Now under brakes, who's it going to be? Let's have a look at this. He's got it done this time. So finally, after a weekend of trying to fight his way by, he has done that. McIntyre, he moves into third and right back onto the tail of Galloway, and even looking around the outside as they enter the bus stop once more. So McIntyre has finally come to the fore here, and Galloway now senses the pressure coming from behind.
Yes, Brendan McIntyre has been chipping away this brand new GSXR Suzuki 1000. The Western Motorcycles 7 Friday Rick Popjoy engineering entry has been chipping away at the balance on the bike, trying to get the best tyre wear out of them. You can see there that he had to balk himself a little bit, or he was balked by Simon Galloway just in front of him on the entrance to races.world, and that's pinged his momentum down Dunlop, possibly put him into danger from Hasler. No, it hasn't. McIntyre still very strong down the Hi-Tec oil straight, up the inside of Galloway. Can he do it again? No, he can't, not quite there. Galloway, he maintains his racing line. Nothing untoward there by either Galloway or McIntyre, just two completely different lines. Look at the 3 different lines going on to the entrance of the bus stop.
It's insane, isn't it? It's fantastic stuff as Galloway holds off McIntyre. Hasler, Edwards, not the best run for Hasler, but he'll be looking to bounce back in the next race a little bit later on this afternoon. Through Hungary for Racetech, up into races.world, the Eastern Loop, of course. Galloway fighting hard and holding second position at the moment. McIntyre right there behind him, then Hasler. But at the front of the field, Ryan Yanko's onto the main straight. There's the checkered flag. What a performance from the Ducati rider. We'll talk about his consistency in just a moment. Galloway and McIntyre. Galloway got it.
And here are the results for race 2, with Ryan Yanko winning over 5 seconds ahead of Simon Galloway and Brendan McIntyre. Dean Hasler finished in 4th, with Michael Edwards, Murray Clark, Wayne Williams, Ben Lowe and Hamish McMurray rounding out the field.
The fastest man of the day, Ryan Yanko, a sub 60. Congratulations, you are flying out there.
Thanks very much, Becky. Just started off that race, head down and bum up. Tried to just get out, try and make a lead and stay there. I didn't know how close the boys were. I'm not running a lap board or anything. I didn't look back. I just eyes forward and kept going.
Congratulations for you for P1 for this race again. Simon, awesome race out there. Another P2 for you today.
Yeah, no, it was good. I had nothing for him that time. I'm a bit fatigued, I think, and he got away and nothing I could do about it. I could hear Brendan right behind me and I was just struggling to finish, so anyway, I'm glad I'm here.
There's one more left. I think you can do it. But our third and final podium for today, Brendan McIntyre. Brendan, how was that race out there for you today?
Frustrating. Good fun. I'm riding probably one of the best sports bikes around, new GSXR 1000. It's good fun anyway, you cut it, but it's always nice to be out in front, and I just can't so far get that gear change sorted out from first to second off the line, and ended up back in about 5th on that one and run out of laps to chase anyone down. Maybe another 10 races they'd wear down a bit more and I could just keep at them, but I just haven't been able to wear them down in the time I've had.
Well, Brendan McIntyre may well be showing some disappointment right now, but he also knows that he has a championship lead to manage as we get ready for the third and final race of the weekend here at Lakeside Park. So let's have a look at how they'll line up. The front row is once again filled out by Ryan Yanko, Brendan McIntyre and Simon Galloway. with Dean Hasler, Murray Clark and Michael Edwards completing the second row. On the third row, we have Ben Lowe, Wayne Williams and Brendan Watson, and Hamish McMurray completes the 10-bike field on board his Kawasaki.
Simon Galloway gets a good start, so too did Brendan McIntyre. He trots across to the inside of the circuit, but it looks like it's all about Ryan Yanko, the man that's dominated this class throughout the weekend. Up into second is the 46, the Chris Watson Motorcycles Yamaha R1 of Simon Galloway. Following him through is the Western Motorcycle 7 Friday Rip Popjoy Suzuki GSX-R 1000 of Brendan McIntyre, but it's all about Ryan Yanko on the Better Port Kubota 5 Gloves Ducati 1299 leading.
Not the greatest of starts further back in the pack from Hasler. He did lose out a little bit there at the start, but it's, as you said, all about Ryan Yanko. Ducati power on top. How appropriate in the FX-Superbikes as they go up over Races.World for the first time.
Let's see who it is that's got the best set of rubber on for the last race here this weekend in the Bikehaggle.com.au FX-Superbike Championship. Of course, included in this is the Pro Twins and Naked Bikes as they head down the Hi-Tec Oils main straight. I hesitated there because I thought it was actually Brendan McIntyre, but it's not. It is still Simon Galloway in second place, and he's about as close as he's been in the early stages of any of the previous races this weekend to Ryan Yanko leading.
And as close as anyone's been all weekend to Ryan Yanko, if you don't mind me saying so. Out of the AGV bus stop they'll go. They'll enter Bikehaggle and then, of course, down to Racetech Hungary. And that top three is setting on quite a show at the moment as they head down to Hungary. This is a fantastic battle again between Galloway and McIntyre, but they're trying to keep Yanko with them as well. They're trying to stay with him and not let him get too far away.
The 37 of Michael Edwards there struggling a little bit to be able to catch up with those three runners in front of him. He's consolidating his fourth position. But Ryan Yanko, he's under a bit of pressure this time from Simon Galloway. Heading down the Hi-Tec Oils main straight, Galloway tries to get up the inside. Oh, so close. Galloway now tries to charge down the inside on the entrance to the Matris Dampers Carousel. Can't do it. He needs to concentrate on getting the power of that Yamaha down to the ground, up through bikebiz.com.au rise. And here comes McIntyre trying to challenge with his Suzuki as they enter into the AGV bus stop.
Oh, this is incredible pressure being applied here at the moment from McIntyre on Galloway, from Galloway and McIntyre on Ryan Yanko as well. They haven't let him get too far away. Fastest over the race so far, 1:26 for McIntyre. So third place fastest at the moment. Might say something about McIntyre's tyre condition compared to those around him as they head out of Races.World and down Dunlop once more.
You've got to say that race management is very much at the forefront as far as Ryan Yanko is concerned. You can see that he's not quite as hard on the throttle on the exit of the corners as he has been throughout the previous races throughout the day. So I guess you could say that he's just doing what he needs to do to try and get that almost perfect score for the weekend.
Well, that's right. That's what's at stake here for Ryan Yanko as they make their way out of Matris Dampers and into the Bike Biz rise and then into the AGV bus stop. Yanko not drawing away as he has done in the previous 5 races. Galloway and McIntyre staying right with him, and one slip up from Yanko, Galloway's going to be right on his bumper.
Down through bikehaggle.com.au into Racetech. Our race leader on lap 4 of 9, Ryan Yanko, on board that Ducati 1299, doing what he needs to do and doing what he's done so well throughout the weekend, and that is lead from the pointy end of the field.
Lead by example.
Exactly. Lead from the front, whatever kind of phrase you want to use.
In that sense, though, you've always got a target on your back because you're the one that everybody's chasing. And what a terrific performance it's been this weekend from Simon Galloway, right there at the moment, and has absolutely taken the challenge and succeeded against Brendan McIntyre all weekend, who has not, despite many attempts, been able to find a way through.
Well, it's always better to see where you've gone than look in front of you to where you've got to get to, and that's what both Simon Galloway and Brendan McIntyre have been doing throughout the entire weekend. They've been looking in front of them at the target that has been on the back of Ryan Yanko, who has really not succumbed to any of the pressure at all this weekend, has he?
No, he hasn't, and that's the experience factor, the consummate professionalism of Ryan Yanko coming to the fore there. Pressure means nothing. He doesn't feel it. He just gets on with the job, goes out there, rides his own race, and if he's got to fight for position, so be it. But he hasn't had that drama here, nor did he at QR earlier in the year as they crossed the line once more. Half race distance, 5 gone, 4 to go. Yanko, again, last time by, back into the 59s again. Not as fast as earlier because it was a 59.8 earlier on, but a 59.9 that time around. So twice this weekend we've been lucky to witness a bike going into the 59s at Lakeside Park. Something we weren't sure would actually happen considering the reconfiguration of the bus stop, but Ryan Yanko has set out and proved it.
He certainly has, and you've taken the words right out of my mouth. Who really cares? It's twice that it's happened, even though this one is 0.1 of a second slower. I don't care. I'm happy that I've seen somebody pilot around here in a 59. Look at this, right round the outside, trying to is Brendan McIntyre. He can't do it through races.world. Will he get the run down Dunlop, capitalise on the slipstreaming down the Hi-Tec Oils main straight? He is very late under brakes. He's very good under brakes. But also, having said that, so too is the 46 of Simon Galloway in covering his steps here.
McIntyre has just lowered his mark, 59.64.
Wow.
Fastest time of the weekend. There is this battle between Galloway and McIntyre continues, and Galloway again has the legs as they exit Matris dampers and into the AGV bus stop. But Ryan Yanko, he gave them a little bit of hope in the first 3 laps, and then he's just put the foot to the floor and said, try and catch me now, boys. 59.6 is super quick.
And sensational time here, no doubt about that. A 1:0:01 for both Galloway and McIntyre on lap 4. That's the fastest they've been able to do. No answer to the superior pace out in front of them. And I think their times are reflective of the fact that they've been battling against each other consistently throughout the entire weekend.
Correct, and we see McIntyre right there in the slipstream of Galloway now as they head up towards Matris dampers carousel. McIntyre under brakes, not able to get the job done on Galloway. To go back to your point, yeah, when you do dice, you tend to take time away from each other, and particularly in the case of Ryan Yanko, as we see again pressure being applied there from McIntyre going to AGV. If Yanko builds a little bit of a buffer and they start dicing, he can easily pull away rather than gradually.
Absolutely a good point in case. So too is the fact that these two back onto their back wheels only. Plenty of air under the front wheel there as they exited the AGV bus stop and ran down bikehaggle.com.au. Through Racetech they come. This is where the Suzuki is very strong. One senses that if he was side by side with Galloway, then maybe McIntyre may be able to get that little bit of a gap and bridge not only what is in front of him, but also move in front of him by a further margin.
Last lap board in the air this time by as they head down towards the carousel. Galloway still holding on to that position as they go through Matris dampers now.
I guess a real point is that McIntyre is riding for points preservation first and foremost. He wants to get in front of Galloway, but he knows that Galloway is a fair way behind him in the championship. He is the only one in the top 6 that is here this weekend that can surmount or mount a challenge towards him. And going into Sydney Motorsport Park, home rounds for both of these riders. Both have had equal amounts of success down there at Sydney Motorsport Park. They don't want to bin it. They don't want to bust each other up. They certainly just want to go away with a bag full of points, the maximum they can each get.
That's exactly right. It's not stopping McIntyre from having a crack though, right to the very last. But take your hat off to this bloke, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan Yanko, clean sweep. How do you like that? Ducati on top in round 3 of the Hi-Tec Oils Australian FX-Superbike Championship. The boy from Chris Watson Motorcycles, Simon Galloway in the second, and hello to what he's watching, and McIntyre in for third.
Michael Edwards managed to pip Dean Hasler on the line to take the 4th place on board his Yamaha. Hasler comes home in 5th with Clark, Williams and McMurray completing the 8-bike field.
Ryan Yanko, 6 from 6 this weekend. It actually doesn't get better than that.
No, you did right there, Becky. had a perfect weekend. Everything's shiny, nothing's broken. So, God, I don't think we can be any happier than we are.
Well, I'm just about to put some icing on your cake. Did you know that you did a 59.64?
No, I didn't. In that last race. Wow, that's unbelievable.
You thought you couldn't get any better, but actually you could.
Yeah, well, especially with tyres at the end of the day. You know, I've used them all morning, and I actually thought they were going off a bit, but obviously not.
1.5 seconds clear of the rest of the field as well.
Unreal. Thanks, Becky.
You should be really stoked with yourself. Congratulations, Ryan.
Cheers.
And in second place, Simon Galloway. You and Brendan had a great battle this weekend, but that last race, that was next level. Good job.
Yeah, no, it was good. I was really trying to stick it to Ryan then. Had a couple of moves on him, but yeah, just couldn't do it. He was too good, and yeah, he just started to get away a bit towards the end. And yeah, congratulations to him. He did an excellent job.
Awesome weekend for you guys. And Brendan McIntyre, you had a great weekend as well, my friend. And that battle in that last race was really good to watch. Things are heating up out there.
Yeah, I've had a few people come up and say thanks for the racing, and frustrating for me, but if someone's getting a good kick out of watching, then that's something. Just wasn't able to get up and give Ryan any sort of stick. Just held where I was, and back to what I said before, just, you know, get off the start better, and this place is yours, and I wasn't able to do that today.
All our congratulations goes out to Ryan Yanko, who takes out a clean sweep in this round of the Bikehaggle.com.au Superbikes. It ensures that the title fight will go down to the wire at the final round at Sydney Motorsport Park, where anything and everything can and will happen. We still have more to come from Lakeside Park next time you join us, as we bring you all the action from the major support categories. We look forward to your company then.